You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WGBW Daily News Roundup for the Talk of Green Bay, 97.9 FM and 1590 AM.
From the 97.9 WGBW newsroom, I'm Lisa Hale with this local news update. Former Green Bay Area Public School District Board member Rick Crossan is now running for Congress in the 8th Congressional District.
I've got a lot of people who I have to convince that I am the best candidate for all of the 8th Congressional District, not just the Democratic Party, not just the ambivalent people in the middle, but for the entire population of people who reside in this district.
Crossan said that part of his desire to run for Congress is to fight against what he called a dictatorial administration.
I think these are times when we all have to put our respective energies in right places to checkmate this slide toward dictatorship that's happening.
But while Crossan finds the inspiration to run based on what's happening nationally, he says he's primarily concerned with the issues of the 8th Congressional District. Among those issues, he called out poverty, immigration, affordable housing, mental health issues, environmental concerns, and health care.
Medicaid, medical issues, Medicare. This so-called big, beautiful bill has the potential of kicking about 270,000 Wisconsinites off the program.
Crossan describes his platforms as foundational: leadership, economic security, health care as a fundamental right, and a strong educational agenda.
My whole life and my life's work and my skill sets lead me to feel very confident that I can function in the role of congressman.
Crossan is not the only Democrat running for the 8th Congressional District. Mark Scheffler, a retired businessman from Appleton, will run against Crossan in the primary in August of 2026. The winner of that primary will take on incumbent Tony Weed. A bill that would specifically ban sextortion in Wisconsin is making its way through the legislature. This is a trend that's growing and has contributed to the death of a Wisconsin teenager. Savannah Tomei-Olson reports.
In these crimes, scammers target teens, often teen boys, pretending they could be a romantic interest. They get the teens to send intimate photos or videos of themselves, and then they turn on them. Sextortionists then blackmail their victims. They say, "Send us money or we'll release the intimate content." Sometimes they even threaten teens by saying they'll report them to police because they created child pornography. 28 states have sextortion laws on the books, according to the Cyber Civil Rights Initiative. Now lawmakers want Wisconsin to be the 29th. The bill is inspired by Braden Bone. The teenager was targeted in a sextortion plot in March, and he took his own life. His family testified at an emotional Senate committee hearing. His mom, Brittany Byrd.
If Braden in his death can save even one more kid, that makes it a little less heavy.
Many of these scammers are outside the U.S., so finding the perpetrators and holding them accountable is often complicated for law enforcement. But more and more kids are now being targeted. Braden's stepdad, Luke Byrd.
In 2021, there were 139 reported cases of financial sextortion targeting minors within the United States. That number's jumped to 36,000 reported victims in 2024. This is per the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. That's a 26,000% increase in a 3-year span.
The bill has already passed the Assembly unanimously. It's expected to get similar support in the full Senate. For Civic Media News, I'm Savannah Tomei-Olson.
The Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection is reminding older residents to be aware of imposter scams in honor of Grandparents' Day on Sunday. According to a press release, highly technical scams targeting older residents have become increasingly common. Scammers have been using artificial intelligence to mimic a grandchild or other relative, claiming they've been arrested or need to fix their car and are requesting money. Older residents who may not be familiar with that kind of technology are more vulnerable to the scam practice. Wisconsin is a longtime leader when it comes to workforce innovation, and right now there's an effort focused on artificial intelligence. Terry Barr has more on this story.
Governor Tony Evers launched the country's first workforce-focused artificial intelligence, or AI, task force several years ago. The group is ready to help industries adapt while protecting workers. I talked with the state's Department of Workforce Development Secretary Amy Pachacek about it.
First state in the nation, the first task force as it relates to workforce and artificial intelligence. How to be proactive and how we are going to prepare our workforce for what is truly being deemed the fourth industrial revolution. Artificial intelligence is expected to impact virtually every occupation and every industry in the world.
Pachacek says Wisconsin's labor legacy is now guiding the response to AI while keeping its workers at the heart of this fast-moving technology.
September is National Recovery Month, and despite a fall in overdose deaths in recent years, Wisconsin still has plenty of work to do to combat the opioid epidemic in Wisconsin. UW Health Dr. Randall Brown says a number of things need to be done to avoid overdoses going back up. Brown says increased access to information and tools to prevent overdoses have been big factors in reducing overdose deaths. Overdose deaths in Wisconsin dropped almost 35% between March of 2024 and 2025, which equates to about 600 fewer deaths. Classes have been back in session for about 4 days, and it seems that drivers still need a refresher on how to handle school buses and traffic. Here's Civic Media's Jimmy Kuska.
It's back to school week, which means that school buses will be on the road again in the morning and afternoon hours. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation is reminding drivers that it's illegal to pass a school bus when its lights are flashing. Amber flashing lights mean that the bus is about to stop and drivers should slow down. Red flashing lights mean that the bus is stopped and drivers are required to stop at least 20 feet away from the bus. The only exception is if the bus is on the opposing side of a divided highway with a center median.
Find out more information on the Wisconsin DOT website. News at the top and bottom of the hour all day and on demand anytime at WGBW.FM. I'm Lisa Hale for 97.9 WGBW News.
The Brewers in Pittsburgh. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball. The Brewers begin a road trip tonight against the Pirates. Milwaukee losing to the Phillies yesterday, 2-0. Starter Freddie Peralta pitched another 5 scoreless innings. He's not allowed a run since early August, but the Brewers could not score a run. Manager Pat Murphy.
Yeah, Freddie was great. He did what he had to do. He threw 5 shutout innings, and he was masterful. Ton of strikeouts. Gave up 2 hits, gets a really good lineup, gave us a chance to win.
NFL, the Packers holding practice today, getting ready for Sunday's season opener against the Lions. College football, the Badgers host Middle Tennessee State tomorrow afternoon at 3. Backup Danny O'Neal will get his first start at quarterback.
Sometimes the enemy of being great is really good, and I think that that's where I think he needs to take some of those next steps, that he is a ball player. He's got a confidence level that's legitimate.
That's the Badgers head coach Luke Fickell with sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Looks like Eastwood is back. That's right, I'm talking about Scott Eastwood, son of Clint, who's just agreed to star opposite Oscar winner Halle Berry in the new film Red Card. Red Card is written by George Gallo, the writer of Midnight Run, an all-time Schwaba fave. Red Card is set in Africa, where Eastwood's character pairs up with a local played by 2-time Oscar nominee Djimon Hounsou to combat poachers. Berry plays an FBI agent who joins them. The film is based on real events and is in the early stages of production. Unbelievable just how much Scott Eastwood looks like his dad the older he gets. Well, it's always sad when a famous designer passes away, even when you've never worn an ounce of clothing they've created. Giorgio Armani, a billionaire fashion designer, has died. Armani has designed clothes for Hollywood stars for the last 50 years. According to People magazine, Armani passed away peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. Giorgio Armani was 91 years old and 5'8". She is a special talent and would be welcome at any time. Those are the words of NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, who was on the Today Show Wednesday talking about Taylor Swift. Swift is rumored to be performing at the Super Bowl halftime show in 2026, and the commish did not exactly shoot down the scuttlebutt. Host Savannah Guthrie did get Goodell to commit to a maybe. So we'll be on pins and needles until that turns into a very possibly. Fingers crossed, Swifties. If you have not been watching South Park lately, do yourself a favor. As usual, they are pulling no punches, and their current target is the president. First, they made fun of his naked body with unbelievable, disgusting AI. Then they attacked ICE and deportations, and now Trey Parker and Matt Stone have the Oval Office occupant still dating Satan and going public with their relationship in the latest episode. The show is still delivering big laughs regardless of who they skewer. Thanks to firings and resignations, there has been a mass exodus of players from the Saturday Night Live cast in the last few months. Regular cast member departures included Heidi Gardner, Devin Walker, and Michael Longfellow. Lorne Michaels told the media he was planning to shake things up ahead of season 51. Gardner said she was tired of doing sketches. Four-year veteran Devin Walker said the atmosphere behind the scenes was often toxic, but that it was fun being part of a dysfunctional family. Longfellow did not return after season 3, but said he wishes he could have in an Instagram post. Gardner was on the show for 8 seasons, which is a record for a female cast member. On September 2nd, Saturday Night Live announced new cast members, including comedians Tommy Brennan, Jeremy Culhane, Ben Marshall, Cam Patterson, and Veronica Slowakowska. Season 51 kicks off October 4th on NBC. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It is going to be mostly cloudy and windy today. Our high in the mid to upper 50s this afternoon. The wind will be out of the west, gusting to near 30 to 35 here through the day. Tonight, partly cloudy. We're going to drop into the 40s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high in the upper 50s to near 60. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Right now, it's 48.
That's your WGBW Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at WGBW.FM. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.